the voice cooed. I built this place just for me and you. Oh, just a text. Really know how to build up the ambiance, don't we?
We sat down and began to update each other.
Titnut?
No, thanks. Absolutely not.
May I interest you in a titnut?
No.
Please?
No. Even if it's a posh pool, one should be allowed to bomb in as one likes.
Welcome.
We're going to get the fucking number right this year. It's the number. Which is
135.
Yeah, it's episode 135 of Ghost Huns.
Hi, welcome into our
sexy summer lair.
Well, Susie's turned up sexy. She's wet t-shirt comp.
Yeah, I got sweet chili sauce from a shit sandwich.
She's trying out her OnlyFans.
And it's
Name them, shame them, so no one gets one.
Well, listen, it rhymes with folk. It's a bit of an egg, and it's on the strand. But I don't like to name and shame businesses. But there you go. It was £7 for a halloumi sandwich, and that is about £3.50 too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit of bread.
Yeah,
there was hardly any avo. One bit of romaine, lettuce leaf, and so much sweet chili and ranch together. And I was like,
I don't hate that combination.
Oh, but I put it on my top instead of my mouth. So,
Oh, dear.
And then I put loads of Hannah. You told me to put loads of cold water on it.
Yeah, although now you've said that, it makes me sound like I'm a perv.
Like wet t-shirt competition.
And I was like, just cover
She's
yourself in
wearing
water.
white.
Now's my chance.
Yeah, well, joke's on you because I'm wearing a padded bra.
And it looks a bit yellow. Is it yellow?
What, my bra?
Yeah.
No, it's the inbuilt bra of the Uniqlo top.
Oh, I see.
It's probably
right.
a bit yellow. It's probably filthy.
Yeah.
Filth.
Dirty. And what we've been doing, we went to Romania.
Oh, did we go to Romania?
First time back in the studio since Romania. Romania.
Yeah. One
So
lettuce
crazy.
leaf. We went on Wizz Air.
Yeah.
Listen, we went Wizz.
I thought I can't
Came
fault
back Ryanair. Well, you did. I came back BA.
Did you? I couldn't fault them. I thought they were fantastic. Was there?
Well, there were some criminals on our flight. Do you remember that? We were queuing for
Forgot all about
our
that.
flight to Cluj, and there were 9 blokes who I can only describe as they'd been seen in a lineup for murder and trafficking.
It was like if you were casting a film and had to get the criminals in, you'd say that was too much.
They were rough as
You'd
dog
say
shit,
that's
weren't they?
too on the nose.
And one of them was like,
They had no socks on.
they had no socks on. One of them
Not a sock between, not a
of
sock
alcohol,
between them.
and it was like 7 a.m. And then one of the women behind the desk, I heard saying to one of them, she was like, "Excuse me, this isn't your bag." And he went, "No." And she went, "Well, you can't check in something that isn't your bag." And he went, "Friend."
Oh,
I was like, "You can't."
They never made it on the flight, though,
Oh well,
did
he
they?
didn't make it on, did it? And then one was escorted out for like smoking in
yeah.
the actual terminal.
Most of them were wearing full tracks. I mean, I can't judge him for stinking of booze because it is an airport after all. And
It's
morning
an airport
beers.
after all.
Come on.
No, but do you know what the smell was? It wasn't just like whiffed of
It was
a
layers of
Wetherspoons.
spirits.
It was like he'd been on 3 bottles of vod, and it was wafting. And in that queue that didn't end.
Yeah, there was 3 of them that had like full tracksuit bottoms on, not a sock, trainers. And then one of them had a double-breasted suit and a polar neck jumper with loafers and no socks.
Yeah.
It was 7 a.m.
It was like a Guy Ritchie movie, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was a shit one.
And one of them had spectacles on that had spectacle sides.
What do you mean?
Like his eyes were so bulging and blue that if he turned to the right or left, he'd have a bit of glasses here.
What?
Yeah, he had they were like goggles, like
yeah,
science goggles. And I was like, what is going on? And he was like, I reckon he was like the Goebbels, like the mastermind.
Right. I don't remind that as much. The master Goebbels.
I don't remind that.
I don't remind. It was 7 a.m. We'd been out the night before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me and Stephen and Matt had forced me out. I think we got in about 12, 1, and we had to get up at 4.
Yeah, you sent a selfie to the
I
Romania
didn't.
WhatsApp group, and
I
I
didn't.
was like, these scumbags.
No, what happened was Stephen tricked me. And Matt was like, I'm going to send a picture. I went, don't you fucking dare. Susie will be all
Have
over
a
our
panic
ass.
attack. Yeah.
This is a secret that stays between us.
Yeah.
And then Stephen went, everyone take a selfie. Do your shots. Because we
Yeah.
had shots. So me
Yeah.
and Matt were like, okay, that's a nice idea. And then we shotted them back and Stephen went, click. And then he sent it to you immediately.
Wow.
And he was like, I haven't got a shot on there. And he was
Stephen,
like,
you little shit.
he was a prick, yeah. And
No,
he's
to be
listening.
fair, I was like, they have to do what they have to do. They are adults. They have made their decision and they have made their bed and they will lie in it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we took that taxi, which I think I still owe Adam for that, actually.
Oh, yeah. We
need to sort
that's
that out.
admin, isn't it?
Listen, admin.
I can
But
only
he was wearing
imagine
his
how awful it was.
aviators and I was like, oh, maybe Adam's a bit hungover. He was like a giggly child.
He was,
He was so hyperactive. He was like,
yeah,
like
he
holiday
was.
time. It was really fun.
Yeah, he was. He's a very naughty little boy.
Yeah.
But we had a really nice time. We had a pool for a bit.
Oh, we did.
Well, one day, I will be honest with you, we went to film a ghost hunt for the
Get your
Patreon.
turd pants on.
Yeah, we did go there to film for the Patreon, so it was a work trip. But the first day, we were told that it was going to be storms and raining the whole time. And we woke up and it was glorious sunshine. And I was like, listen, get by the pool. Susie was like, I'm going to put my turd mine pants on because she wanted us to all go mining. I was like, get them off, bitch. We're staying here. The only time we're leaving is for a nice boozy lunch at midday, and then we're coming back here.
Except you did it in a really diplomatic way because you kind of let me come to the decision myself.
You had to get there on your own.
Yeah, because I was like, everyone, get your mining pants on. We're off.
Yeah.
And then I saw the sun. I was like, guys, listen. What if we went tomorrow and you all went, yeah?
We didn't even say, you literally said, what if? And we went, yes, take your pants off.
Yeah.
Take your fucking pants off. Get in the pool. Let's go.
We had such a nice time. We were listening to Vanessa Paradis, Everybody.
Yeah, we had a great playlist. We did a lot of driving. Adams did a lot of driving. I did some driving. I did about an hour. But Romania is terrifying on the roads.
Oh my God. You'll see if you join up to Patreon.
Well, listen, I'm not going to give it all away.
You will see what happened on that road.
Yeah,
it was fucking nuts.
Yeah, we got a flood warning from the government.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm not going to tell you anymore, but you must go.
Our phones went off like sirens. But yeah, then I stayed on.
You stayed on?
I stayed on.
With the bears?
I went to go see bears. I got to see bears. And they were really cute. Some of them had a little bit of mating in the bushes.
Oh, you saw them shagging?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, collar bear, the one who has a collar around his neck.
Yeah. What position were they in?
AKA collar bear. He was sort of on top of her at the back, but he didn't actually get there because she was having none of it.
Oh, she just didn't fancy
She
it.
was like, what are you doing? And he didn't really get fully on board, but he did try, and it was a bit, I felt a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah, who am I
intrigued.
empathetic with in that situation?
The poor young female bear.
Yeah.
Who just didn't want it.
Yeah, sounds a bit R-wordy, that.
It was a bit, yeah. He was a bit wrong, and he was the one who bashed into a shed 200 kilometres away to try and get the food. And
oh, he sounds like
he's
such a lout.
Yeah, he's a lout. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I don't
he's a right
like
scumbag.
collar bear. Yeah, what a prick.
But he walks with swagger as well.
Yeah,
he was like fucking
does
giving
he?
it the
Yeah.
whole. And also the young female bear, she'd only just come of age. So you just think,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, for the mating. So you just did think
Pedo.
he's pedo
Big
swagger.
pedo bear.
Yeah, nonce bear.
Pedo R-word bear. Nonce bear.
Yeah, noncy bear.
You text the woman and be like, next time you go and see him, rename him.
Yeah. Both me and Neil agree that I went on a journey.
Oh.
Went on a journey, Hannah.
Both me and Neil agree.
We do agree that we had, because when I first got dropped off from the little boat into the forest, our guide, this woman, lovely woman from Travel Carpathia, check it out if you want to go find bears in Romania. She's your woman. Travel Carpathia, amazing. And she had her walking poles, and she was going, like smacking them together to be like, okay, yeah, the bears are closer. Blah. And then she went, oh, look, fresh. I was like, what? And she pointed with her stick, and there was a fresh paw print in the mud. And it was as big as my face. And you could see the fucking claw marks in it. And I was like, and I just had this moment where like adrenaline like filled my body and I just freaked. But quietly, So my eyes were like, and Neil was like, I've never seen you look like that ever. And he was like, he started panicking on my behalf. He's like, what have I done? Like, I've suggested that we go and see bears. And then I was like, oh my God. And it was a half hour like this steep. And if you're listening, I'm doing my hand just upright. And I could.
Well, you had to do a half an hour hike uphill.
Yeah, to get to the cabin in the fucking woods. So I was, but honestly, it felt like it went by in 30 seconds because like the adrenaline was so much. I was in flight, so I was going.
Yeah.
And
you're like, this is fine.
Yeah,
I'd like to just keep doing this.
Yeah. And she was like, the thing to do is to not be nervous because they can sense that and it'll freak them out. And I was like. And then I saw as we got to the cabin, she undid the electric fence. She was like, go. We went in and then she put down the wire again. And then I saw this like fuzzy black straight past me 2 meters away.
How can they guarantee you're not going to die?
They can't. And you had to, we were late. So I signed the waiver against my life really fast.
Oh my God, you're signing a waiver?
Yeah, that if you could come to death. Yeah.
That's what it said?
Yeah.
Fuck
Injury,
off.
All of it. You have to because you're living with the bears.
I wouldn't go and fucking stay there.
Jesus Christ. It was very, I felt like, but my journey was that in the end, I braved the next day hike for 6 hours and we were out in bear country.
Oh, right. And you were fine.
I did it and I just had to be because I was like, I can't stay in the cabin for 2 days straight.
Were you hiking with someone else?
With Alina, our guide.
Oh, right. So she knows what she's doing.
You have to just trust.
Yeah.
In the experts.
You must trust.
You must.
Oh,
trust.
stunning.
As Jerry Halliwell says,
out
with the fear.
Does she?
She does.
When does she say that?
I think in that first autobiography she did when
I've never
the
read
black
it.
cover. It was the Spice Girl one. Really good book.
Is it? Maybe I'll give it a bash.
Really good. She talks about sort of snogging Mel B.
Oh, yeah, they did snog lots, didn't they?
Come on.
They were shagging.
Were they?
Yeah, they were proper shagging, yeah. Well, Mel B said they were.
Oh, Jerry. I do.
I want her old back. I want the old Jerry back. I want the Mel B shagging, ginger haired, sauce
I'm dressed
pot.
like her.
What?
She only wears white.
Oh, yeah. Get that off. And see, I'm at it again. You're dressed like Jerry Halliwell, Al Mel B.
Oh my God.
Men B.
Fucking Christ. Menty B.
Shall we do a tarot?
Yes. Why don't you go for it, honey?
Oh.
What is your feeling? Shock me the book. What is it? Is it bad? Is it tower?
It's death.
Oh no, death is good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
It really panicked me, but it was the wrong way round. It was. See, whoever said that we lied.
Yeah, actually we don't.
Thank you.
No, the death card is good because we've come back after
I'm gonna
a break.
Eat a chocolate peanut. I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
And we were just talking about you maybe nearly dying.
Okay, here we go. This is interesting.
Not good, though.
It suggests that you might long for the cord to be cut, but unfortunately you have to persist and endure without the relief from an ending.
It's this podcast.
It's not time for termination and closure yet.
Oh.
Be patient with the current circumstances without resigning yourself from a negative outcome. Coming changes may alter the way you feel about the status quo. Remember that harvest isn't started until the fruit is ripe.
Oh.
Work at becoming wiser and more mellow, sweeter and more nourishing, and your time of release will happen sooner.
Do you know what? I have said that I am trying to work on being more mellow and sweet.
Are you?
Yeah, like the world doesn't revolve around me.
Right.
I'm trying to be less selfish.
Okay.
And I am very self-aware. Do you think that?
Yeah.
But I am trying to not be such a twat all the time.
So it's about persistence and endurance and just sticking with the status quo for a while because we're going to ripen into fresh fruit.
And we were even talking yesterday about how we can't leave each other in the pod.
If you fucking dare. If you eat, I'm really glad we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, I would actually never
we should
speak to you
actually
again.
write a contract which says the other one's allowed injury or death to do to the other one if the other one leaves.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Great.
Gorgeous. Imagine if I now got like somebody was like, you can have 50 million a year.
From
on
what?
Like, I don't know, on something I'd be like, oh, fuck.
You
stay on that
see,
shitty
I think
podcast now.
you would still do the pod.
Of course I would.
Also, take it back from your whore mouth, calling it shit podcast.
Your dirty whore mouth.
Dirty whore mouth.
Respectfully, I take it back. I am, of course, taking the piss. No, I need to have backups. I like having all. I'm like, I couldn't just leave this.
You can't.
No.
You mustn't.
We mustn't. Right.
So, we're back in the studio, back on our shit. We got the numbers right. Mathing is math.
Mathing is mathing.
And this is just, you're right. What I will do after you've done a story, I'm going to carry on with part 2 of the creepy.
Okay, shall I do a little story then?
So
this is quite interesting. This first one that I've got right.
Yeah.
Because I saw it. When I was doing my little research. I was doing my homework, and I saw something about it, and I just can't. I have no idea whether or not it's real or not. Some places say it's not real. Some people say it's a completely true story.
Ooh.
It's very mysterious, but we're gonna kind of get into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Along a forgotten stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere stood a weather-beaten building, Harry Mann's Roadside Motel and Wildlife Refuge.
Oh!
Oh no, I don't think there are any harmings of animals.
There better not be.
No, I don't think there is.
Wildlife Refuge.
The slime flickered erratically, the paint peeling like skin from old bones. Few passed that way anymore, and those who did often kept driving. But when your tank's on empty and your phone's got no signal, even the strangest place looks like salvation.
That's like a lyric from a
I was
good country
just
song.
going to say that.
And when your gas is on empty,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very Dolly Parton, isn't it? I'm sure it is. It's very similar. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I was just going to say something. Oh, fuck's sake. That's what Alyssa thought when she pulled in one rainy night, of course. The front office smelled like mildew and something sickly sweet, like rotting fruit left in the sun. Harry Mann was behind the counter, a hunched man with watery blue eyes and skin like sun-dried leather. He smiled too wide. "You're my only guest tonight," he said. "Room 6, it's a quiet one." As Alyssa settled in, she noticed something odd. The walls had vents. Not just normal ones, but wide metal grates in strange places. By the floorboards, near the ceiling, even beneath the bed.
Oh no.
She thought little of it until midnight when she heard clink, clink, scrape of something moving through the vents. At first she thought it was rats. Then she heard breathing. Slow. Wheezing. Human breathing. She sat up. The noise stopped. Then a whisper came through the vent by the bed. "You sleep so still." She screamed and bolted for the door, but it wouldn't open. It was bolted from the outside. And that's when she heard it again. Clink, scrape, shuffle. Above her now, something heavy moving through the ducts, and then a low laugh. "Harry Mann sees everything." The voice cooed. "I built this place just for me and you." Oh, just a text. Really know how to build up the ambiance, don't we? Hilarious. Right, hang on.
Oh shit.
Panicking, she smashed a lamp against the vent near the bed. Dust and rust showered the carpet, and behind it, eyes. Human eyes, wide and unblinking, staring through the darkness. She ran to the bathroom but stopped short. The window was barred. She heard a new sound. A wet snort from outside.
Oh. That's disgusting.
A heavy animal breath. Lifting the shade, she saw them. 2 enormous hippos standing in the rain.
What? In the rain?
In the rain. Eyes glowing faintly in the dark. One of them opened its mouth wide, wider than she thought possible, and let out a sound that chilled her blood. What could that be?
Hippos are really dangerous.
They're very, yeah, you seen them with a melon? Seen them with a fucking melon?
Do they crush it?
Like, gone.
Yeah.
Like smash.
They are one of the most dangerous things in the safari.
Yes, I have heard that, and Harry Mann has got 2 of them.
Oh,
It's got to be
Mann.
from disposing a body.
Mm.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway. Blah, blah, blah. Harry Mann kept his hippos in a pen behind the motel. He told people that they were part of the wildlife refuge, but the truth was worse. So much worse. In the lobby, A dusty guest book sat on the counter. Every name written on it had a red line through it. None had checked out. The walls were thin and the vents were thinner, and Harry Mann was always watching, crawling and listening. Some say Harry isn't even alive anymore, just a shape slithering through the ducts. Ducts? Fed by the beasts in the back and the fear of his guests. On stormy nights, travellers still see the sign flicker to life. The last room is always available. And if you ever hear something crawling through the vents at night, don't scream, because it only makes Harry crawl faster.
Oh.
The end.
So the hippos are what?
He's got the hippos to dispose of the bodies.
Oh, so the hippos
So he
are
goes,
waiting
has
for
his,
her.
does
I love
whatever he
that.
wants to. Yeah, they're like, hungry hippos.
Oh, hungry hippo.
Hungry hippos.
What is hungry hippo?
It's a game, isn't it?
Is
Kids'
it?
game. Where you press the thing and the hippos grab the balls that are on the
Oh,
middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gross. So what? People are saying that's true.
People are saying that's real, or it was so hard to find anything about him. But there's a picture that's supposed to be him. He's got a massive moon head, and it obviously isn't him.
Jesus Christ!
But if anyone knows about Harry Mann or has heard about it, because I looked for ages.
So the moral of the story is: don't stop at a motel at night alone, lady.
Never do that, ladies.
Lady.
No, thank you anymore for
men.
the motels. Or
Harry
men.
Mann will eat anyone.
Harry Mann will take lady or man
Yeah.
and feed his hippos anything. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Harry Mann and the hippos.
Do you know that reminded me of that story we did of the mime in the vent?
Yes, I thought the
and
same.
I've never forgotten that.
No, it's creepy.
Like I know, like Lynn stays with me, but the mime hasn't left my brain.
What it is for me is when you're looking, it's the same as if you're watching a scary film. If you're looking around and you're like, oh no, what is it? And it's not like something making you jump. It's that you
just been there
spot
all
something
along.
and it's always been there.
It's always been watching.
Yeah, horrific.
Horrific.
Horrific. Like those, like that man with the trainers. His head's just between her feet from under the bed,
God.
and it's like she just goes, "Oh no!" Oh, he's there.
Yeah.
That's
The
awful.
jump scare of it.
Right, what have you got for me then?
So this is going to be part 2 of Alexandria's story from Creep of the Week.
Can we have a reminder
Yeah.
of what
Creep
happened?
of the Week. Creep of the Week.
Cow.
Creep of the Week.
Creep
of the week. Okay, so a reminder. So Alexandria wrote in saying that this is a story about her family. She's from Texas.
Texas.
And I cannot do the accent to save my life.
Well, someone told me I had a really good Texas accent. remember? And I was like thrilled because you only get the accent.
Yeah,
comments.
you're overtaking
like,
me in
no,
the
it's
accent
my time.
lane. Yeah,
I've really been working on my Australian.
slaying your lane.
Slaying your lane. I've been working on my Australian.
Australia, you look like a Coke advert right now. It's because you're holding it like this weird angle.
If anybody needs anyone, I can do it. 1 calorie.
So to catch you up, basically, Alexandria said that her grandma, who they affectionately call Gammy, she died, and her mum was distraught. It was her mum's mum who died, and she finds out that her Gammy said to Alexandria in a dream, "Don't let your mother go to my house alone."
Right. Oh, yes.
And then she finds out that there's an entity in there.
Okay.
And her mum is like, "Okay, we both have to go to the house." They go into the house. Alexandria's like, "What do I need to do?" She's like, "Just go and have a wander and tell me what you feel."
So you're going to say, go and have a wank.
Go and have a wander.
Listen, first things first.
Yeah. And
Sorry, Alexandria.
she goes into her Aunt Nikki's room.
Yes.
Which is where her mum and her sister grew up in this house. And she goes, something was in there. And her mum says, "That's really interesting. You told me that because that's what my mother told me." She said, "There's an entity in Nikki's room."
Right.
And then Alexandria has this dream. And this is where we get to, where she dreams that her and her mum are going to Gammy's house. And as her mum walks into the house in her dream, her grandma appears by the side of the car. She's like, "Knock, knock."
Oh, no.
And she's just a bit too perfect. There's no wispy hairs like normal. The hair's properly slicked back. And she's like, "That's not my grandma."
No.
And she starts being like, "I've been waiting for ages for the weak one." And it's like this entity is trying to attach itself. And then she wakes up in cold sweats. And that's where we get
to have a face where I suit a slicked back bun. I'd love it.
I think you could.
No, I just look a bit like an egg.
Really?
Yeah. I need to have like quite a lot of volume in my hair to give it some shape. But like, like the Kim K's of the world. I just love a slicked back bun. Low down
I do.
on the neck.
My ears are too sticky outy for it.
Are they?
I can't. Yeah, I've got sticky outy.
I wouldn't worry about ears for a slick back bun. Wouldn't give a fuck
No,
about
they
that.
are like a trophy.
Shall we just do it one
The Ryder
day?
Cup.
Should we just both go? Like a wingnut and a fucking...
Yeah.
Wingnut and a bowling ball out for the day with the slick back buns.
Washer.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll be a toolbox.
Next time we spend the day at the pool, we'll go. Yeah.
I'm dressed as a toolbox.
I'm the bottom of a nail.
What was it called? A winch?
Oh, wait, yeah. And wingnut.
The nut.
The wingnut.
Nut.
Which is what I said at the beginning.
Okay.
I'm like, wingnut. So what's it called?
No.
A wingnut. No, what is that name? It's got nut in it. No, it's a wingnut. It's like what birds have.
Called wingnut. Wingnut.
Wingnut, that's it. Got it.
Okay. So this is where we got to. She tells this entity in her dream, my Gammy's dead and you're not my Gammy. At the comment, the figure pretending to be my grandma paused for a split second and then a chilling, malicious smile spread across her face as she leaned in slightly. Oh, no. I remembered where I had felt that gaze before, and it was when I was leaving my aunt's bedroom during my walkthrough. Suddenly, she stuck both her hands in the space between the window and the door and forced the glass down. We've done all this.
She's actually forced it down with her fingers.
Well, this is in her dream. This entity is like appeared in her dream. And she's like, this is my house now. I'll go through each of the ones like your grandma until I find the weak link. I've been waiting for ages. I sat up straight up in my own bed, a cold sweat from my dream. When I realised where I was, I noticed the time on my alarm clock in the corner at 5:55 a.m. Too terrified to move or go back to sleep, I laid back down in bed and stared at the ceiling until sunrise. So, she's been warned by this entity to never let her mum go into the house alone.
Right.
And that's where we're up to. So, part 2. The next morning, I told my mum what I dreamt, and to my surprise, she believed me. I knew it would sound crazy, even to my hippie mother, but she took my words seriously. I've heard all I need from you. We need to go and get some supplies. Get your brother and sister and let's load up the car. We went to a local shop downtown to gather the supplies my mother had referred to. I thought it was just a health food store that my mum and Gammy would frequent for herbs to help with her treatment, but apparently they had much more stock than originally thought.
Herbs.
We brought the items home and put them to use. My mum had burnt so much sage in the house it left soot marks on our high ceilings and aggravated my brother's asthma.
She's like, shut the fuck up. We've got ghosts.
He's like, it's like, no, we really must sage. Only after opening all the windows in my house to let out the bad energy did she feel satisfied with her cleansing. For the following few weeks, the only thing that I had to face was my grief. Seeing your mother trying to put on a smile while in deep emotional despair was heartbreaking, and in and of itself, especially when feeling like you're in a black hole yourself. Then I noticed some small changes. It started as something small, almost unnoticeable, like objects being moved from where I'd originally put them. I usually chalked it up to my forgetful ADHD tendencies, but when a glass of water I'd been drinking at the kitchen table appeared on the mantel above my living room fireplace, I knew something was off.
I've just dropped a chocolate peanut down my top. Like in between bubbies.
Should we take a little break?
No, I've got it. I just threw it back in there.
Okay,
yeah.
so note to self, don't take any
Not that one.
fucking tit nuts
Not
from
that.
the...
Oh, it's there now. It's in the
Thank
matcha.
you. No, I think I won't be going near your tray anyway.
Titnuts. Titnuts and wingnuts.
Wingnuts
That's
and
the name of
titnuts.
the episode.
Wingnut and Titnut. Who's who? Right, back to forgetful ADHD
Please,
tendencies, yeah?
Yeah.
Soon after my realisation, the signs became more obvious and I became increasingly on edge. I'd hear knocking on the bathroom door while in the shower, only to open the door wrapped in a towel and agitation to realise that everyone was down the hall and sitting in the living room. Then I would hear my name being called at random times. One evening, while lying out on my bed reading a book, I heard my mum call my name from the kitchen. Thinking she needed help cooking dinner, I placed my bookmark in and walked over to where she was standing. Yes, ma'am? My mum turned her attention away from the spaghetti she was working on and looked confused. What is it, sugar? You called me. Do you need help with dinner or something? My mum shook her head. I didn't call you. Maybe it was your sister, Gracie? There was just one problem. Gracie was outside and down the
Gracie's
street.
like 3 weeks old.
Yeah, she can't make no words. Gracie was outside and down the street playing with our friends. When my mum turned around to continue with dinner, the words she said sunk in, and I heard a sudden whisper behind my right shoulder. I whipped my head around, but there was nothing there.
Sand?
Zan, because her name's Alexandria.
Oh, yeah.
The next day, I was the first one home as I got off early from school. I threw my backpack down at the door and made my way into the kitchen to get an apple as a snack. From the sink of my kitchen, you could see the entirety of my living room, dining room, and entrance to my parents' bedroom. I peeled the sticker from the red apple and looked up to get ready to go sit on the couch to unwind before homework. I froze. There was some dark, shadowy figure staring at me from the middle of my living room. Trying to calm my fear and use logic, I quickly ran to the space between my kitchen and the living room in hopes that the apparition was a trick of the light. But when I rounded the corner, it was in the same place with its focus following my direction. I drew a deep breath. "What do you want?" I screamed. Suddenly, the figure made a motion that lunged towards me, but it sank into the carpet and disappeared. As I stared wide-eyed in shock at the floor, my fear suddenly turned to rage. I was tired of being tormented with these haunting microaggressions. I turned my gaze up and yelled as loudly as I could, "Just leave me alone!" The last anomaly I witnessed was the fan above my head sway, as if in the wind itself. Then it went still, and everything became quiet again. The next few months continued without a single incident. I had no feelings of being watched or anticipating some spooky surprises. I was finally peaceful. Strangely, my first dream of my Gammy brought me great comfort, like she was watching out for us. I was finally able to live comfortably in my home. It was late one Friday night when my mum pulled out her phone for one of her usual nightly chats with my Aunt Nikki. Since she had recently moved to Houston with my 2 cousins, and I felt like she mostly called because she was homesick, when the phone rang, my mum answered. I could hear my aunt yelling loudly at the other end. "Whoa, Nikki, what's going on?" My mum sounded genuinely concerned. This wasn't a prank or my aunt trying to be funny, because
She wasn't.
No, because she wasn't. Because my mum rose from the couch and quickly went out to the garage to talk in private. My siblings and I couldn't hear anything, just the muffled sounds of my mum talking in the garage. After about 15 minutes, she came back in, staring blankly at the floor as she walked. When she sat down again on the couch, we all asked her what had happened to Nikki. She gave a dismissive wave and a smirk. "Oh, she called me when she was right in the middle of a scary movie." Good grief, that woman almost gave me a heart attack. We accepted her answer and went back to watching our movie together. However, when my mum got another call and ran straight to the garage, we knew it was more than just a horror movie. This time, my brother, sister, and I snuck up from the couch to eavesdrop by the garage door. You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know the goss. I could barely make out what she was saying except for one sentence towards the end of the call. "Okay, Nikki, get kin and get out of the house now. Go to a hotel down the road and call me when you get there. I love you. Bye." We scrambled back to the couch before Mum walked in and caught us. When she came in from the garage, we were all sitting cool as cucumbers on the couch like we didn't just jump over the furniture to reach our seats. "Movie really spooking Nikki?" I asked, prodding my mum for answers. "No, she's having some trouble with your cousin, acting up." This wasn't news. Our cousin Kin had just entered her teenage years and her angst was in full swing. Her mum and her had been arguing more frequently, but I couldn't remember Nikki calling urgently, like tonight. "Okay, if I tell y'all..." "Don't tell your aunt or your cousin, okay?" my mum asked all 3 of us. My mum held eye contact with me for slightly longer than normal before she spoke. "There's some weird stuff happening at Nikki's new house, and she's not sure how to deal with it." This isn't what we thought when Mum said Kin was acting up. "Like what?" Gracie spoke up first. "Like," my mum began and sighed before finishing her sentence. "Nikki said Kin has been staying up late at night talking to someone, and she thought she was using a phone past her bedtime. So one night, Nikki waited outside her bedroom until she could hear Kin talking on the phone. When she opened the door, Kin was sitting on her bed talking to nothing." I felt my stomach drop. I didn't like where this was going. "And Nikki said this was how everything started," Mum said. "Started," my brother said. Okay. It says my brother Houston, but I thought it was like, Houston, we have a problem. But I suppose Houston, we do have a problem, but that's her brother's name. Okay.
Right.
Started, my brother Houston spoke up now.
Hang on, so they live in Houston and the brother's called Houston?
Yeah. Girl.
I mean, there's much nicer names in America. Like, you couldn't have your brother Bogner Regis.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. Or
Hove.
Clapton.
Lime Regis. Lime Regis.
Lime Regis is good, yeah. Lime Regis, stop picking your nose.
Started, my brother Houston spoke up now. Y'all know Nikki doesn't believe in ghosts and stuff, right? We all nodded in unison, and my mum continued. Well, after Kin was staying up talking to nothing, she started acting weird. Nikki said she'd get angry at anything, and one night she'd had enough and told Kin to go to bed early. Apparently, after that, Kin's voice changed, and she screamed at her mum that she couldn't make her do anything anymore. All of us were tuned in, hanging on every word like it was a campfire story. After that, Nikki went to move towards Kin to walk to her room, and the cabinets flew open. All the glass in her cabinets fell to the floor, and Kin said something like, "If you yell at me again, you'll be sorry." And then went into her room and started talking in the closet.
Oh, no.
We all knew our aunt was not one to tolerate disrespect, not in the slightest. She must have been really spooked to let Kin walk off like she did. After Nikki cleaned up the glass, she went to her room to call me, and then I could hear loud scratching on her ceiling while she was talking. It was that loud. I asked Nikki if it could be a raccoon or something in the attic, but she started crying when she told me that the attic was not above her room. It was on the other side of the house. This was like a real-life horror movie, and we were hooked. We all knew if our aunt called in a panic over this, it was happening. Nikki wasn't one to exaggerate either. If anything, she downplayed a lot of otherwise serious situations. Just then, my mum got a text and breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, Nikki took Kin to a hotel down the road and they're going to stay there a couple of nights. We were all just as relieved as my mum was. My mum glanced up at me for a slight moment and asked me to help her make popcorn in the kitchen while my siblings continued to watch a movie. I could sense that this was more than just making popcorn, so I agreed and I followed her out of the living room to the kitchen. When we put the popcorn in the microwave, she used the extra noise to drown out her whisper. "Alexandria, what did that thing in the nightmare say? The one that looked like Gammy." I tried to put those experiences out of my head since all the strange activity had ceased in our house. I went back through the dream and tried to remember every detail that I could. As much as I wished it had faded from memory, it was all crystal clear. "This is my house now, and I will go through each of you like your grandma until I find the weak link. I've been waiting for ages." The thought of that face smiling as those words crept out of its mouth made me nauseous. I looked up at my mum and repeated what the unknown entity had told me, confirming that we were what we were both thinking but were hoping we were wrong. Later that night, I had another strange dream. I was standing in the street in front of my grandma's house at night time. Ahead of me was the woods, with my cousin Kin standing at the edge. I felt a touch at my left hand and looked down to see my Gammy's hand gripping mine. When I looked at her face, relief washed over me as I saw all of the familiar features that I loved. It was her. It really was her this time. She turned her head away and nodded in my cousin's direction. Suddenly, Kin started to walk into the woods with her, hand out in front of her, almost like being led by something unseen.
Oh dear.
"Gammy, aren't we going to stop her?" I asked in concern. "Zan, she'll find her way out, I promise. Trust me." And while I was nervous, my grandma's reassurance made me feel secure. I slept peacefully the rest of the night.
Well, she obviously hasn't got my sense of direction because I would never find my fucking way out of the forest.
No.
I can barely find my way outside of here.
No, I know. We did go to a haunted forest in Romania. And we wouldn't have had a fucking clue how to have gotten out of that.
Well, neither did the guide, actually.
No.
We got lost.
I can't even tell you who the guide was because he doesn't want to be advertised.
Literally was like, if they want me, if they need me, they find me.
Yeah.
We were like, what's your company called? And he was like, I don't tell you.
I don't tell you.
All right, mate.
He wants to wind it down, doesn't
he? He's bored.
But do go to Romania and find him just to,
But first of all, go to patreon.com/ghosthuns.
Yeah, you'll find it all there.
I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous that we were in this forest. And this guy's like, we're 30 minutes from car, we begin now. And we were like, okay, great. And then as we were walking through this forest, he was like doing this comedy, like head scratch, like, I don't know where I am. And I was like, Alex, how far away are we from the car? Because we've been walking for 25 minutes. And he went, if we find road, 5 minutes from car. If we don't find road, I don't know. And I was like, okay, great, thanks, Alex. Well, it has been that amount of time. And he literally took us off-road.
I think he was lost.
He was 100% lost.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. And I was trying to tell everyone, I was like, he's lost. Alex is lost. Everyone was like, calm down. I was like, no, we're going to die.
We were just following him blindly. There was a lot of trust that happened on that holiday.
On a random man.
A random man.
Let me just tell you this before you carry on.
Picked us up by the urban logs.
Yeah, when we arranged this before we went to Romania, he was like, we were like, how much is it? And he said, €200 for tour, €500 for fake scare. And me and Susie were like, actually, I could be tempted. It's for a fake scare in the woods. It would make Patreon quite fun. It would make it a fun experience. Anyway, in the end, we were like €500 mental.
Yeah.
Then we saw him and we went, Alex, just out of curiosity, what would the fake scare have been? And he went, what, fake scare? And we went, yeah, you were going to charge us €500 for it. What was it? And he was like, oh, fake scare. Yeah, I would have been your actor. And then I would have screamed, pointed, shouted, oh no, ghost, and then ran away.
It would have been a really good fake scare, to be honest.
Are you kidding me?
That was the one time I saw him really smile.
Yeah, it was.
Because he was like, if I run, you never leave the woods.
Yeah, We're like, yeah, he stopped at one point. He's like, if you don't give me 5-star review, we'll take your organs. Do go and see it because it's only seems to be believed.
Alex in the Forest. Yeah. I think that was the scariest bit when he did that manic laugh. And we were like, you're lost.
Because he turned around and like, as though like, here's where they come and take you for sex traffic.
Yeah, for those 2 seconds when he turned around with a glint in his eye, I was like, we're dead. Oh, we're dead.
100%, yeah. Because we wouldn't have found out.
No one was around.
No. And all that spunk on the rocks.
Oh, the ectoplasm that he kept prodding.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Anyway, 5 stars. Okay.
5-star for fake scare.
5 stars. So she sees in her dream her cousin going towards the woods, and her Gammy's like, don't worry about it. The next week, my aunt called my mum to inform her that she was moving out immediately and had found a new house during those few days her and Kin spent in a hotel.
Oh, great.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave the entity to it.
New house.
After leaving the house, all the activity stopped, but Kin was always distant. When everyone, including her mum, asked her about what happened in that house, she insisted she didn't remember anything but a blur until they left that night for the hotel. I initially breathed a sigh of relief. She made it out of the woods by herself, just like Gammy had said. The next 10 years or so of my life passed without a single word or unexplained occurrence. No strange events plagued my siblings or any other of my family members. Even though I tried to forget it or write it off as nothing more than a false memory, the words it hissed in my face echoed in the back of my head like an ominous warning. When I was around 22, my first child, Miles, was about 3 years old. Since I stayed at home with him alone most of the time, we'd created our own little routine, playtime, while I cleaned the house. I'd look out from my kitchen while I wiped down the counters and watched him pretend to read his books to his toys on the living room rug.
Cute.
I loved how the sunlight came in from the front bay windows and made his blonde curls look like a little halo.
Oops.
One regular Saturday, we were going through our usual routine. Me sweeping the floor when Miles read to his toys in the living room. He got up and told his little crowd of stuffy spectators that he would be right back with a new book. I watched as his little legs ran as fast as he could down the hallway to his room where he had a small bookshelf. Usually, he would run back out and give a completely made-up story to his audience while holding an actual book whose storyline held no resemblance to his creative liberties. Today, though, he took a little longer, and I could hear him talking in the back room. I figured he was talking to himself while he decided what book to pick. He shot out of the hallway, holding one of my favourite childhood books, Madeline. I mostly just kept a copy for nostalgic reasons. Miles never really had the attention span for the story about an orphan girl in France and the mischief she'd get into.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, Madeline, wasn't it, really?
Was it? I just remember she had the same haircut as me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It was just a weird... It was like, let's just gloss over the fact that there's probably so much trauma in one room.
All of these films when you're younger are like, they're actually quite traumatic. Yeah.
Mulan. Fucking hell.
I really want to rewatch that.
I never liked it, but like...
Oh, I loved it.
What is that story? Pocahontas, all the racism.
Oh, yeah. I never liked Pocahontas.
I loved it. I loved it, yeah. I like all the water and the trees and I love all that ruralness.
Just around the river
And the songs are amazing.
Yeah, I just wasn't into it.
Oh, I love it. I've been watching Hotel Transylvania a lot.
I still haven't seen it.
No, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Okay. Basically, Bran Castle.
Okay, so he picked out Madeline. Today, though, he took a little longer and I could hear him talking in the back room. I figured he was talking to himself. I waited to hear what new plot he would make up. To my surprise, he recited the first line of the book perfectly in his sweet little voice. In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines.
Ah.
I stopped sweeping and watched him as he continued to correctly read the book to his little friends. After the 3rd perfectly recited page, I interjected before he went on. Hey, chicken, where did you learn to read Madeline? He turned his little golden head to look at me and innocently explained, Gammy showed it to me. As he faced towards his toys again, the words sank in. And instead of feeling comfort, I felt fear.
Yeah.
Miles had always been a bit sensitive himself, waving to elderly people who weren't there or laughing at nothing when he played in the backyard, but he'd never mentioned anything that gave me cause for concern until that day. What did you say? Who read that to you? I walked closer to where he was sitting on the rug as he spoke. Gammy. She reads to me sometimes. This wasn't a coincidence. I'd never really talked about Gammy in front of his little ears and sadly had no pictures of her in my house. I kept a smile on my face so he wouldn't feel like anything was wrong. Who's Gammy? I prompted as I crouched down on the floor with him. She plays with me in my bedroom sometimes. She's really nice and has really pretty hair. Kids were really water faucets of unsolicited information. They'd give away your social security number to a McDonald's drive-thru worker if given the chance. He smiled when he talked about her and it gave me a small glimmer of hope that it might be Gammy, not something else.
Of course.
He continued playing with his toys and I tried my best to remain positive until proven otherwise. The following weekend, Kin came into town to visit from Dallas. It's always strange seeing the people you grew up with become adults alongside you. You have all these inside jokes and funny stories that just seem to lighten any serious adult conversation. One day during her visit, we met at a local Mexican food restaurant for lunch.
Oh, I love Mexican.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've always been disappointed.
Oh, I love it. Oaxaca. Delicious. They did the best enchiladas.
I'm quite hungry, actually. We sat down and began to update each other on...
Titnut?
No, thanks. Absolutely not.
May I interest you in a titnut?
No.
Please?
No. We sat down and began to update each other on life events that had happened since we last saw each other. Mid-bite into some more chips and queso, Lynn looked at me. Kin, not Lynn. God, Lynn. No, she's not in this story. Kin looked at me and asked, do you remember when all that stuff happened at my old house in Houston? The question was out of nowhere and took me by surprise. The recent events with Miles still left me speculative and cautious of where this conversation would be leading. Yeah, I took a sip of Coke. I do. I thought you didn't. Kin looked at me and answered coyly, well, I don't remember too much, but I was talking to Mum about it the other day and she mentioned that your mum told her about your weird nightmares or something. She was prodding me to divulge more information, but I didn't want to give too much. I quickly went over some of the highlights of the events, leaving out a few more of the chilling details. Kin listened intently the entire time. When I was finished with my brief recounting, she took another bite of queso and concentrated as she chewed. So, she swallowed and grabbed at her drink. Did it ever talk to you? I had purposefully left that detail out and instead just said that I saw something that was pretending to be her. I made no mention of it. I made no mention of how it spoke in my face or what it said. I'm not sure, maybe? I kept my answer light and casual in case she pushed for further questions. Okay, she nodded understandingly. I just thought your mum mentioned about how the thing in your dream talked to you, but maybe I got it wrong. She grabbed a straw for another sip of her drink and I decided to tell her the truth. Actually, yeah, it did talk to me. Did it talk to you or something when you were in Houston? I know you've always said it was like a blur, but no, I remember that. I remember how it talked to me, she said quickly, cutting me off. Both of us locked eyes. What did it say? I said, maintaining eye contact. It started out like a regular conversation and then it changed. I don't remember when, but I remember it happened fast. But before everything in my memory goes fuzzy, she gave a small giggle. This might sound like something seriously out of a horror movie, but I think it gave me its name. I could feel the colour drain from my face in an instant. What did you say? My voice cracking at the start of my sentence. Pin in this, in part 1, the entity told Alexandria its name.
Oh, what was it?
She says, I don't want to repeat it for fear of if you say it out loud, it will bring it back. Oh. So she's been told a name by the entity.
Oh, right.
And now she's hearing her cousin
say
10 years later
name.
being like, did it tell you a name? So, what did you say? My voice cracking. She must have seen my expression. Her face faded as if this must be where everyone else would voice their doubts about their experience. But I wasn't going to, because I knew this wasn't a made-up ghost story. This was her truth, and she finally found someone to give her full validation for her recounting. I said, it told me its name. Kin, it told me its name too. At this point, everything around us had faded, except for our conversation that seemingly existed beyond time and space in that small booth. I don't like to say it because I'm a little scared too, honestly, she said, as if indirectly asking me to please not utter a word out loud. I'm the same way. I've never repeated it. But there has to be some way to compare notes here, I said, leading her in the direction of the conversation. We can say the letter it starts with. On 3? I nodded as she began the countdown. 1, 2, 3. A.
I was thinking A.
Were you?
Yeah, that's really weird.
No.
I would swear to you, I wish I'd have said A. That's weird.
Really?
I really wish I'd have just gone A before you had.
That's weird.
That was what was in my head. Just do another letter, because I've got another letter.
I don't think so. I think they're genuinely, and it's literally coming to the end, they're too scared to say it.
Right.
A, we both said
Alan.
Alan. Shock painted both of our expressions, and her hand covered her mouth as well. We stared at each other for a moment, both of us trying to figure out how we could know for sure if we wouldn't say it out loud. Okay, I started as I leaned in front of me to grab a stray crayon left on our table when we sat down. I have an idea. I grab a folded up napkin with my other hand. I'll write the name I know down on this, and you do the same with your napkin, and then we switch. She nodded and folded her napkin over in preparation. I sat down, careful to hide any evidence of the content as I wrote on the napkin and slid the folded paper, along with a crayon, towards her. Kin wrote her name down quickly and passed the napkin. I counted down to 3 as we prepared for what could only have been the scariest moment of our lives. When I looked down at the napkin in my hand, I almost screamed. It was the same name that I wrote down. We both slowly looked up at each other with the same realization that it was all real. And that was the only validation either of us ever wanted to hear. After lunch, and on my way home for the afternoon, I stopped at my mum's house to pick up Miles. I didn't tell her about Kin and I's exchange because I didn't really want it to be true. I just wanted to have a normal rest of my day and forget. I loaded Miles in my car and we drove towards our house while singing Stir Fry by Migos in our baby voices. I was ready to just continue my routine uninhibited. We pulled into the driveway and unloaded out of my small blue car. Alrighty, handsome, I said, dusting off the usual dirt found on a toddler's clothes. Let's get inside and get ready for some dinner. I squeezed him twice as he giggled. I stood up and held his hand as I unlocked the side door into our house, looking directly down in our unlit hallway. As I began to walk forward, I suddenly stopped mid-step over the threshold and froze. A shadowy figure ran down the hallway in front of me to Miles's room. This isn't happening. You're just paranoid because you talked with Kin earlier about that thing. It isn't real. Mama! Miles exclaimed suddenly, and I prepared to help his fear subside, but instead I was shocked beyond belief. I saw Gammy!
Oh no, Gammy, fucking hell.
He said while pointing.
Alan's back.
Yeah, he said while pointing a small little finger down the hallway.
Oh no.
The end!
Oh wow.
That is the end of a very longy, creepy week.
Yeah, it was long, but yeah, that's scary.
And the fact that it spanned so many years. Gammy knew, her mum knew,
Alan,
Nikki knew.
Everyone knew about Alan.
Kin knew. Alan, do you think it's Alan?
Yeah.
A.
No, I did see A and then T. But I joked
Did
that it was
you?
Alan. Yeah.
Like
I'm so annoyed that I didn't scream out A.
I know. Well, I believe you that you got A.
Yeah, I did.
What would Alexandria, if you're listening, you don't have to tell us the name, but
Is it Alan?
Is it Alan or is it AT?
Or AT, yeah. That'd be good to find out, one of those things. Oh, my God.
I think it's like AM.
Oh, do you? Like Amora?
Or a morgue.
A morgue.
A morgue. I don't know. Anyway, thank you,
I want to know the
for
full name,
sharing
to be
that.
totally honest with you. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't like the idea of an entity following you.
No, it's a bit creepy, that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no matter where you go.
I must say.
So, let's do We Get Haunted so you don't...
Oh, let's get haunted. Oh, did you not like that then?
I'm going to be honest.
I said to Suze, I was like, have this
Hannah
on.
sent me some
You must
interior
get this.
design.
And Suze was like,
inspo.
no.
I really don't like
Do you
that.
not like that?
Not at all.
Well,
Also,
like red and pink.
Well, to me, it's dark pink.
Well,
I
would have had red instead of that maroon colour.
Yeah.
Do you not like the stripes?
I think it's oppressive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like
I love
stripes.
little things like that. Anyway, moving on. When I saw that, I was like, God, she really hates it.
No,
Right.
it wasn't for me. Yeah, did you get my Kermit?
That's our bill
gift?
from the pool the other day. Right, you've got to get your phone, please.
Oh, yeah, I bombed in the pool and really pissed a woman off who had joy in her eyes.
We went to a posh rooftop pool and Suze fucking bombed in twice. And these people were like, you are a slag.
Yeah,
But they looked so miserable.
they were so miserable. And I was like, even if it's a posh pool, one should be allowed to bomb in as one likes.
Well, to be honest, it costs a fucking fortune to go, so do whatever the fuck you want.
Do what you like.
Do what the fuck you want. I'm not going to sit here all demure.
Also, she didn't crack a smile for the entire time she was there, and she was just on her phone in the pool.
Yeah, she's never had fun.
And I was like, have a swim.
A lot of them are like that, to be
Dunk
honest.
in.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that. A lot of them are really boring.
Oh,
We had a lovely time, though,
Jesus.
didn't we?
we really did.
We
It
had
was a
all my
lovely
fags
day.
and we were drinking and we were being loud. It was
Aperol
fab.
spritzing.
Oh, gorgeous. Okay, have you got your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Type in 07.
Oh, am I calling someone?
Yeah, and then random numbers till you make 11. I mean, this is supposed to be done on a public payphone and you're supposed to chop your finger off.
Yeah, I've got it.
I don't think we can do either of those
What
things.
do I do?
Right, you've done it. Right. Now you have to
Don't
you have to
call
ring. Yeah,
it.
you have to ring it. And as it's ringing, you have to say, Satoru Kun, please show
Satoru
yourself.
Kun.
Satoru Kun.
Satoru Kun.
Satoru Kun. Satoru
Satoru
Kun.
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 C-U-N.
K-U-N, but yeah.
Satoru Kun.
Yes, Satoru Kun, please show yourself.
Satoru Kun, please show yourself.
And then you have to say, Satoru, please answer me if you're there.
Satoru, please answer me.
And
if you're
then
there.
you can turn, and then you can end
this.
the call, and they will call you back if it's a ghost.
Satoru Kun, come on.
No, you have to ring it.
I'm calling it.
Put it on speaker
Says
then.
I have. It's not doing anything. Weird. Call ended.
What?
Someone just hung it up. Oh my God, the ghost has fucking negged me.
Satoru, what a cunt.
Yeah, Satoru, I'll sit on your... Anyway.
If somebody rings you back, you must let us know. Because that's Satoru Kun out for revenge.
Revenge.
Right, well, we'll see you next time. This has been absolutely bloody stunning.
And if you came to our show yesterday,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
We haven't done it yet.
There's
We're very
loads more.
excited.
Oh, me and Suze are doing stand-up together at the Queer Comedy Club in Alvin and Castle. We're going to do an hour. Adam's going to MC.
Bit of McShow.
We're going to have a few drinkies.
Bit
It's
of
going to be
death.
so chill, but so fun and so little and intimate. So do come along.
21st of, what is it?
July.
21st of July.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, bitches.
Bye. We love you. Bye.